we're going to talk about how to become the version of you which you've always wanted to be. Today, my hopes is by the end of this, you have 100% permission and confidence and self-belief to go after the exact version of you that you've always been wanting to be. Maybe right now you feel a little held back. You're worried, you're scared, you're doubtful, but you still have that desire in you. This training is for you specifically. Maybe it's a body that you want to build, but you're scared of failing again because you failed for years and years and years. Or maybe you've always struggled with your health and everyone sees you a certain way, and it feels very uncomfortable kind of shedding that and changing yourself. Because maybe we're worried about what other people think. Maybe it's a dream that we have. Maybe it's to go build a business or an impact or a movement or help people or change a career or whatever it may be. But we're worried because our parents, our partner, our friends are going to judge us. Or we have to take a cut back in salary. Or whatever it may be. All these things that we worry about. Right? If that's you, this training is for you here today. I'm so excited to dive into this. I'm going to start this out with a very powerful quote for you, and that is by the man himself, Albert Einstein. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it. By one of the smartest men in the entire world. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it. Do you know what that means? What he's talking about there is basically you are the creator of your life. You are beyond more powerful than you could ever imagine. And if we broke this down, all the way down to a quantum level, every single thing is energy, vibration, frequency, like Nikola Tesla says. And if you broke every single thing down at a quantum level, everything is just all potentials at the end of the day. And then a potential reality is created, timelines collapse, once we put energy and focus into something. If you want to change your life, if you want to change your entire life, your body, how you look, how you feel, the career you have, the relationships you have, if you want to change it, you can. And all you have to do is match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it because what you want also wants you. So that's what we're going to break down here today, guys, is I'm going to hopefully install self-belief into you to show you that you are so much more than you think you are right now. Because most of us, we try to play this life game on safety mode. But what the heck does that even mean? That means that we live life off of fear. Safety means you're playing it safe. Means you are only focused on being safe. So most of us live our lives off safety. We live our lives to survive but not thrive. And I lived my life for that way so long. And I can't imagine those who are older than me. Because I lived my life, like I remember it was around grade 7. Is where like all my dreams and these ideas about this magical world I lived in and these potentials and this self-belief I had and this confidence shattered. Gone. And then came the insecurities and the worries and the doubt and the fear and constantly worrying about what other people thought about me and all this crap that never existed in my life before. It now overwhelmed me. And that took me over up until about grade 11 or 12 when I did two specific things. Number one is I got in shape. I built my body, which built me more self-belief and confidence. Then number two is I started studying the universal laws. So I started to understand how manifesting works. I started to understand vibration. It's the law of attraction. Those specifically. And I studied those, and I studied those, and I studied those. And this led me on to a 9-year path, which here I am today, which allowed me to create, or should I say, step into a life of my dreams, where I get to do exactly what I want every single day. I get to create exactly what I want. I no longer let fear, doubt, worry, all these things hold me back. I do not let other people's opinions hold me back. I wake up every single day and I live life exactly how I want it to be. And I'm focused on my personal mission. And in this life, it is beyond fulfilling. It is the dream. But let me tell you here, is that in that dream, pain and stuff still pops up. But when you get to that state, you understand it, you can flow through it so much easier. And what I'm telling you here is that would have never happened for me, though, if I didn't follow that calling. If I would have let life take me over and become a victim of my programming, of insecurities, of low confidence, of I can't go chase the dreams that I want because it's too scary and nobody's ever done it, so I can't do it either. And if I would have listened to other people's opinions, I would have never gotten to where I'm at today. Never. It would have felt like I would have sold my soul and I would have slowly just started dying. And on that path, I probably would have distracted myself through drugs. I'd probably procrastinate. I'd probably do all these things to find comfort, to feel a little bit better, to try to feel like what it would feel like as I live now. I'm telling you, this is more possible than you could ever imagine. If you have that calling inside you, but right now there's a little bit of fear, doubt, anxiety, worry, you don't know how it's going to work, like this is for you. You really need to pay attention. Again, the man himself, Albert Einstein, said it. Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get it. You see, you are the creator of your life, but we are sold a lie. Society and how this world was built off of fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. Mainly fear. We build things and we become the way we are to survive, but we don't live to thrive. And then we're told that thriving is a dream. It's only in the movies. Why would you ever want to live a life like that? Why would you ever buy in to an idea and a system like that? Have you ever thought about that before? You see, I started questioning all of these things at a very young age, and I said, I refuse to live a life like that. I remember even telling my parents, and I love my parents so much, I would never change one single thing about my parents. My parents are the best. But I remember they wanted me to go do a different path in my life because that's what they knew was safe and secure, right? So they're playing off of, I want you to be safe and secure, and I know this is the path that's going to work for you. My heart, my soul was like, no, you cannot do that. You got to go this way. You got to go this way. And I remember they tried everything in the books to get me to go. And just one night, I just finally told them, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to die. There's no in between. I have no choice. I am following this calling. I am following my path, my dream. And then over the years, they saw me succeed, and now they are my biggest supporters, and such an amazing relationship. It built us even better to where we're at now. It's amazing. But again, all this wouldn't have happened if I didn't believe myself and I didn't follow that calling. So you got to understand that mostly in life, we play it safe, but we don't play it to thrive. And my hopes today at the end of this training is that you're thriving. So what does Albert Einstein mean when he says, match the frequency of the reality that you want and you cannot help but get it? He's talking about how this universe is created, how everything in our world is created, everything at a foundational level. We often are sold the idea that we are these humans and that we are so precious and so nothing and so small to all of us. And the world is outside of us. But actually, the world is inside of you. I think of this as we are consciousness. Call it source, God, whatever suits you best. Then we all have a soul, right? Creates separation from oneness, so individualism, so that way we can learn, we can grow, experience new things, to expand, right? That's what it's all about. And where I'm going with this is that when it comes to our physical life and our worlds, we get sold this idea that we are just these human bodies and that's it. And we're just growing up here, we just end up here, right? And then we're bought into this system, the way society works. And then we go do these things. But again, what is that feeling inside you, that calling that has got you to where you're at today when it comes to building your life, your health, your body, your partners, whatever it may be? Or maybe you're not following the path that you should be following. Maybe you're lying to yourself. And you have this off feeling deep, deep inside when you sit with yourself at night. You know it's really deep in there, but it hurts and doesn't feel good. Many things are popping up in your life that are just like, why is this all happening to me? But overall, if you'd say like if you're in an aligned life or not aligned, you feel like you're not aligned. This is what I'm talking about. So if we break everything down, okay, everything at the end of the day is energy, vibration, frequency. And if you look at the quantum realm and how like quantum physics, everything all works at a universal level, everything is just potentials. And if you want to create a certain reality, if you want to create a life, right, a different version of you, it's all about tuning into a different frequency. You got to match, because everything vibrates. You got to match the vibration that is on. You got to tune into the frequency of that is on. So think of it like this. If you're tuned in, you're watching channel 90 right now, all the other channels are also playing, but you cannot hear them because you're only tuned into that certain channel. So most of us live on a channel of fear, of doubt, of worry. And that's our dominant frequency. And then we get more and more and more and more of that in our lives. And we don't get to change it because it influences our entire lives. We don't think differently, we don't feel differently because we're tuned into that frequency. So we kind of keep getting the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing, like let's say, you build a desire for a car, right? You automatically start wanting a car. The more that you obsess about this car, now you start seeing the car everywhere. You buy the car, it's everywhere. Before you never saw it once, but now it's everywhere. That car was always there. Now you're just tuned into it. Same thing with somebody who's lucky and unlucky. Somebody who believes they're lucky, they feel lucky, they think lucky, so they have luckier thoughts, they have luckier opportunities pop up, they can spot opportunities better, and they take action off of it because they believe they're lucky, so they don't think they're going to get scammed. So they still lose, but they don't focus on that. They focus on all the times they get lucky, and they keep doing it more and more and more, and they keep getting lucky. Same thing with someone unlucky. They believe everything's scams and nothing works out for them, so they don't go outside the box. They don't think differently. They don't see different opportunities. They're stuck in their own scope of thinking, so they get more and more unlucky, and more bad keeps happening to them. And you'll have to hear them say, I'm just so unlucky. Nothing ever works out for me. Why are you choosing that reality? Right? Why are you tapped into that frequency? So this is what I mean. Like, if you reflect on your life right now, and where you're at, what's been happening to you. Maybe it's your body that you don't like. Reflect back in the last 12 months. Do you speak more negative about yourself or positive? Specifically your body, your health. Probably more negative, right? There's probably more complaining. There's probably more worry. Well, that's what you're getting more and more of. Same thing with money. Do you complain more about money? Or are you talking more of an abundant state? Business. Do you talk more about why businesses fail and don't work? Or all the possibilities, all the opportunities? So that's a great way to reflect, for an example, on where you're at in your life, is just tune back in the last 12 months of your life and what is your most dominant emotions and thoughts? Is it scared? Is it worry? Is it doubt? Right? Is it thoughts about how you don't feel good, you're low energy, things are not working out for you, whatever it may be? And then look where you're at. That's all the proof you need right there. So if we want to change, we got to understand change requires change, though. That means that you're going to have to start thinking differently. That means that you're going to have to shed off your old ego, because the ego is a story we tell about ourselves. I am where I am in life because this happened to me. I am because this is wrong with me. I'm broken. The ego loves that. It sucks that up all day. Because it creates a story about you and it tries to shape reality in that way to fit this box. But this is the problem, is that's got to open up if we want to change. Because you're going to be challenged. You're going to be required to take 100% responsibility. You cannot change unless you have all your power. But if we're a victim of life and say, this happened to me and that's why I can't change or I'm broken, we lose our own potential power. We lose our power to change. We buy into the story that we've been telling ourselves. We buy into that reality. And we keep thinking and feeling that way, so we keep stuck. So if you want to transform yourself, that story has got to go. And this is where we always talk about the hero's journey. You have to have enough faith and courage to say no more of the old way of being, the old programming, and step into this new version of yourself. Not 100% bought into it's going to work yet, which I'm hoping I can buy you into your own self-belief here today. But you got to do it anyways. And then you got to work through that nitty-gritty process, right? You got to be a little uncomfortable. And that only happens because the way we perceive the situation only happens because of how we want it to happen, basically. It's because our old self is trying to hold on so tightly, right? And we're scared as we're entering this new self. So it's scary, it's uncomfortable, it's a shedding process. But what you always realize at the end of it is that you get everything you asked for. It's just never how you thought. You know, I always use a quote, I asked God for strength, therefore he gave me challenges to go through to get stronger. So it's like, well, I asked for strength and muscles didn't pop up, but blocks of brick popped up and I had to push through them, and now I'm stronger. But if we had the victim mindset, like life is against me, it doesn't work out for me, I can't change, this is who I am, this is what happened to me, my story. We say, oh, these bricks popped up and I can't get through them. Why would somebody put those bricks there to me? I'm trying to heal, I'm trying to get better. Why would you put those bricks there? It's like, yo, tap in. Those bricks are there for you, man. You asked for those. Right? You asked for those to get better. If you want to become that strong version, well, you got to put in the reps and work to get strong. Let's go. This is for you. Right? So, anyways, if you want to change your reality, how we influence our world, how we change our reality when it comes to like the quantum realm and manifesting, law of attraction, universal laws, the real deal stuff that a lot of us don't believe in because I think it's explained the wrong way, or the wrong types of people explain it and we don't buy into it, we don't believe in it, or it's like the woohoo stuff. There's nothing woohoo about it. We just got to go deeper and deeper and deeper, which I'm actually creating a free course right now to explain the entire process A to Z. So stay tuned on my Instagram at Caden.Hayward or at Coach.Hayward. And we don't buy into it, right? And here's the thing about it, is that when you want to change your life, it's actually so beyond easy, and that's what makes it so hard. Because in life, we're bought into the idea that a lot of things have to be hard to accomplish and to create. And I was bought into that for many, many years too. I had to work super hard to accomplish these things. But when you get in alignment, which means basically when you match that frequency of who you want to be, but you do it now, even though the results aren't here, everything is going to unfold and everything's going to lay out exactly how it should be. Because again, what you want wants you as well. So what you have to do is you literally, every single day before you start your day, is you want to step into, what do I feel like as if I'm already living as that version of me? What does that feel like? The feeling is a magnet. And then the thoughts is the electrical kind of charge to it. Okay, Joe Dispenza talks about this as well. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Thoughts and feelings over time when they're connected. So this is why most affirmations and manifesting coaches don't work, because it's like, hey, go spit out in the mirror, I'm beautiful. But if you feel terrible inside, you're going to put that out into the world. So it's not going to change. But if you can change the way you feel, so if you go back to an event last time you felt beautiful and you feel that feeling, and then you think now, I am beautiful, and you connect that thought and feeling together, those are neurons that now are going to start firing together. And the more and more you do that, neurons that fire together will wire together. So it'll actually create a new pattern in your brain. So then you'll start to buy into it, where you'll start to believe it's actually who you are. Because what is an identity? It's a thought and emotion over and over again. And then we start to buy into that's our reality. It's who we are. Because again, mind you, the brain doesn't know if it's living in the past, the future. It only experiences everything in the now. So a lot of people with anxiety and worry, the reason why they have anxiety and worry is because they're living in the past or the future. So they're anxious about what might happen or what has happened, and maybe it might happen again. So they're always on high alert mode. So if we can tap into the present moment, right? Get present again, start thinking and feeling that way, neurons that fire together will wire together. Over time, that becomes an identity. Your identity influences how you show up in the world. How you show up in the world gets you the results that you want. The results that you want reinforces that new identity / belief. And then next thing you know, you're walking around in a little bit of time and you're exactly who you want to be. Because the person that you want to be, they only think differently, they believe differently about themselves, they act differently, and they feel differently. And there's a little bit of time gap. But that's it. That's it. It's not about them getting a different opportunity. It's not about they started off better. It's not about any of that. When you start to feel, think, act, and believe like you're already them, you're going to show up as them, and you're going to create what they want, what they are, what they do. The greatest example about this is look at the example of a rich mind versus a poor mind. The saying goes, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. There could be many reasons behind that, but here's a statistics that's very interesting. If somebody who is poor wins the lottery, do you think that's going to change their life? Most of us would say, yeah, oh my God, if I had all that money, it's going to change everything. Number one, it might temporarily change your emotional state, but not permanently. Not permanently. You'll go back to that state eventually. Because what you'll realize, the external doesn't change barely anything. It all has to come from within. But number two is that over 80% of those people will end up losing all the money or spending all the money within about 5 or so years. And that just shows you, and then they'll be right back to square one, where they were before. So giving someone money like that isn't really going to help them change the reality and become rich. They have to change their mindset, their belief systems. When they can change that, then they can change the external. It's like an example that one of a great mentor online uses. If you see a mirror and the person is sad in the mirror, do you go up and try to wipe the mirror and say, come on, like let's get a smiley face on there? No. You got to change the person. You got to make them smile, and then the mirror is going to reflect that. Same thing with your life. If you want to be healthy and fit, right? Do you go out and follow a diet plan? No. Yeah, it can be helpful as a guide, but that's not the end-all be-all. You go in, you start feeling and thinking as a healthy and fit person. You show up as that every single day. You start doing what they do because you have the answers inside you. And if not, that healthy and fit person will go out and find the answers because that's who they are and that's what they do. And the more and more that you buy into feeling that way and you act that way, you're going to start getting results eventually. Okay, today I'm going to play a game. I'm going to act like a very fit and health person. I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to go buy some really good food. I'm going to eat it. If that person did that for the next year straight, they'd be the healthiest and fittest person in the world. The reason why we don't is because our past programming takes over. We don't trust in it. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't stay consistent because we don't do things we want to do because we're not acting in alignment. We're acting off of like a punishment. You have to go to the gym and do a bunch of cardio and you have to eat chicken and broccoli because you need to lose weight and you're not good enough or whatever it may be. It's like, well, no, that's not true. How about we change it? Let's be good enough now. Let's feel amazing in our own bodies. Let's already be enough. Let's already be worthy and deserving. And then let's go based off that. Let's do this because we want to just feel better and better, right? Let's do this because we want to feel healthier and more fit. Because we love ourselves. We want to respect our body. Our body's a temple, right? We want to be here as long as possible. Let's treat it that way. Not like a punishment that you're not good enough or people are better than you, whatever that crap is. Again, that's the ego. That's the mind. That's the logical side taking over. And it pushes us out of alignment because then we'll go do drastic changes, right? We'll follow the pills, the diets, whatever it may be, and then we'll change temporarily, but then we go right back to square one again because we didn't change our internal state. But if we change our internal state, which is our belief systems, our identity, our patterns, our habits, right, our reality, oh my gosh, well, getting fit and healthy is a side effect. It's going to happen naturally. And I personally proved this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times with my clients. It works. So that's what I'm going to leave you off with for today. Is number one, is that you got to believe in yourself. Because at the end of the day, you either have to believe that you cannot do something or you have to believe that you can do something. But either way, you've got to believe. And for most of us, that belief is just coming from old programming. But old programming can change, is what I'm trying to tell you. So change your programming or just start faking it right now and start believing yourself even if you don't fully. And then find a way to fully buy into that belief. But remember, you are the creator of your life. You are the creator of your life. You're not the victim of your life. Society and the world tries to tell you that, but you're not the victim of your life. If you are in a lowest of lows right now, if you're depressed, if you're struggling, if you're unhealthy, whatever it may be, You have the power to change, and that is one of the most beautiful, freeing, best feelings ever. You're not broken and stuck. This world is not against you. This is all for you, and you can change. But you first got to break that story that you've been telling yourself. And you've got to let that potential, that light, that hope seep into your life. And you got to feed it. And you got to drown out the old self. And then tap into how to change your frequency. Tap into how does the quantum realm work? How does the law of attraction actually work? If you just focus on 3 universal laws, your whole life will change. Law of action, law of gestation, law of attraction. Law of action means that in order to accomplish something, to become something, you must act towards it. Okay, every action has a reaction. So if you want different reactions, different results in your life, you must take different actions. But you'll naturally take the right actions if you change your state of being, your feelings and your thoughts. You'll naturally change your actions. So you don't have to worry about that at first. But the law of action, then the law of gestation. The law of gestation is just everything has a little time period, a little time gap, whatever it may be. It might be instant, might be a week, might be a month, might be a year. Let go of that. Just understand that's just a law of the universe. And then the next one is the law of attraction. Okay, what I think, how I feel, I become. You magnetize the life that you want. You can attract the reality that you want. It's not about working towards, it's about becoming. You become that rich, healthy, fit, whatever it may be, that person now. And then with gestation period and consistent action, you will become it. So that's the training for today, guys. I hope this helped you out in any way, whatever it may be. If it did, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I've got a huge goal I'm trying to hit right now, so please subscribe and like and leave a comment of whatever helped you best today. And I'll see you on the next training.